Hey guys, in this video we'll create a beautiful Instagram clone. You won't find anything like this on YouTube or maybe the internet. So it will cover almost everything you have on the real one. As we can see here, we have the profile page, and in here we can basically do everything, hover and see the stats. You can click the posts and open this model. You can go to this little gear icon and open another model for some more actions. What else you can do here? You can also upload images. Let me add some image here and share that. You can also go to the post. What else? You can also make comments on the posts. This is responsive, so you can go to mobile version. It still works and it looks good. You can also go to this other edit profile section where you can enter your profile information, and you can see this snap is also functional. All this is functional. You can save. You can go to the home page, and the home page you can see all these different posts. This stories component here is also functional, so you can scroll this right and left to see more profiles. You can follow people here on the suggestions box. You can sign out. You can log in. So it's a pretty complete project. So if you want to see the whole process, because I couldn't cover everything in this video, but this video is pretty complete on the front end part. So make sure to subscribe if you like this video. Maybe add some comments. That will help me with the algorithm. So thanks for watching, and let's get started. Okay, so first let's create a new app. I will fast forward this part because it may take a few minutes. And once this is done, we can cd into the folder and run npm start. And we should see the default React page with the logo spinning. Okay, so we will create different components for this page. This is the profile page. And the first component we will create is the header. So we will start with this Navbar, or yeah, it's a Navbar actually, no, it's not a header. And we'll continue with all these components. This is the highlights, this little profile here, and finally the posts. Okay, so before we start with the code, we will need two packages. One is Tailwind, and the other one is FontAwesome for the icons. So let's follow the steps here. We need to install these two packages. And next we need to run this command. This will create a couple configuration files, Tailwind and Post.js.config. And we also need to update that config file, the Tailwind. And we also need to update the index.css. Copy that again. And next, let's edit the app.js file. Return h1, select this code, save, and we actually need to restart the app. Alrighty, should be underlined, I guess. Okay, it's working. Okay, so now let's install FontAwesome. let's follow the instructions. So first we need to install this core package. Okay, now let's install the free icons. These are the solid icons. And the regular ones. Okay. The last one is the React components. So now let's create our first component. It will be called the Navbar. So let's create a new folder called components. And there we can create the Navbar.js. Switch to Beam. Open this file here. This will be called Navbar. And we want to show that in the app. Let's delete this. Alrighty, save this. And let's import this component. Oops. It will be Navbar. It will be on the components folder. And it's called Navbar. And we should see just a little Navbar message. So Tailwind has many utility classes. If you go to the website, you can check all the different class names. Sometimes I don't remember the exact name, so I just Google the class that the CSS property that I want to use, and I usually get the name of the utility class for that property. So it's important that you know CSS before trying to use Tailwind. I think I would recommend that. All right, so now let's start with the Navbar component. Okay, so for the Navbar component, I will use an app tag that will be this part here. I will also use a container from Tailwind. It will be centered, and I will split this in 3 parts. One for the logo. It will be a flex. There will be another flex div, including 3 other items. One for the logo, another for the input search, and another for these icons here. So we will split this in 3 parts. Okay. So let's go to Beam and go to the Navbar. Let's create a nav tag. This will be a sticky, because if you remember, the Instagram website has a sticky Navbar, as you can see when you scroll down. So we need that to be sticky. It will be a sticky Navbar. We also want it to be full width. I think I can use W full here. Let me see that it doesn't break. Top 0, full. Yeah, it works fine. Okay. It will take the full width of the nav. I also want that to be have a border at the bottom, 1 pixel. I also want that to be with the Z index of 50, because sometimes it can go behind things, behind other elements. And inside this, I want a container, and that container will have a max width because the containers in Tailwind have different breakpoints. So I don't want to use that particular size for the container, so I will constrain that to a width. This is 5. I will use 5XL, which is something like 24 pixels. Okay, and inside this container is where we have the 3 items for the 3 different elements. Oh, sorry, no. Inside this we'll have the flex container. So it will be flex. It will be flex row. It will be we'll have a padding the top and bottom of 1 pixel, and you will also have the item center. Okay, and here is where we have the 3 elements. So we will have 1 div for the logo. I'm gonna use basis 1/3, which is basically the initial width of the flex item will be 33%. And I will add some padding to the left. And I want this to be like without padding when it goes to the large breakpoint. Okay. This is what breaks the emmet auto completion. So let's do it like no. Yeah, I can use this. Okay, let's do that manually. Basis 1/3, and as you can see, I have auto completion for these utility classes. This is a little Beam plugin. Obviously, you use Visual Studio Code. There's some plugins for that too, so I recommend that. And let's close this div. And let's create 2 more. And let's put here logo. This will be the input search. And here we have the icons. Okay, so let's check out that in the browser. Here we can see the different elements. Something important is that this container by default is not center, so we need to add something else to the config. Let me actually add some background so we can see that. So as you can see, the container is not center, so we need to go to the config here and add something else to center the element. Let me get that from my final code. Container center. So now this should be center, as we can see here. So now let's go back to Beam and remove this. Okay, so now we can start adding these elements. Okay, so for this logo, we need an image tag. And we will have the image in the images. It will be called logo Instagram. It's an SVG. This will be logo, and let's set a width of 120. And I need to copy that from my final project. Let me copy quickly that. Okay, so now that file is in the folder called images in the public folder. And so now we have the logo. So now let's work on the input. But before that, there's something we need here. We need to import the FontAwesome icons. So on the app component, I need to import some other components. I will copy that from here so it's easier. I need to import these components. This is not a really recommended way because this will import everything, all the different icons. In a real world project, you should basically import each icon individually. But for this tutorial, I will just use this because it's easier. So let's copy this and add this here. So this will basically import all the icons. And let's save this. And now we are ready to use the icons on the navbar. Let me create another. Oh, sorry. I need to first import the FontAwesome component here. So this is called FontAwesome icon from React FontAwesome. That's correct. And here now I can use that component. It will be FontAwesome. The icon will be a magnifying glass, this one, and the class name will be position absolute here, and I want it to be about 3 rems to the left and 3 to the right, sorry, to the top, and I want that icon to be gray, 300. Alrighty. Another thing I need is a div here to make it relative, so I can position absolute the other element. Okay, let's move these 2 things here. And I forgot to close one div. Oh, this one. Okay, check out that on the browser. It looks close. Let's go back to Beam and let's see. For the input field, I want to add some more classes here. Excuse me. Want to add some padding to all the different directions, top, left, right, bottom. We want to make this a gray background. We want to be rounded with the large corners, and we want this to be 80 rems width, and some padding to the left too, a line in the middle of the vertical space. I need to make this wider. And what else? I need to remove the focus that the browser adds by default. That blue focus border. And I want to make the font a little bit lighter than the default. So I will use this utility class placeholder and the font light. Okay. And now this looks a lot better, very close to the real one. Okay, so now let's work on the icons. Let's delete this, and I want to have an order list tag for this, and some child list elements here. The URL will be a flex container. Direction will be row. I want to have some space between the elements of 4 in the x-axis. I want to add some padding too, and I want to make this text to Excel. Let me see if I can see the okay now. I usually just try different sizes. It's basically like a try and error, but you can go to the documentation and see the exact size that this converts to. I want to have another justify end, sorry. So the elements are vertically centered. And also horizontally centered. Okay. And each of these list elements will contain an icon. So let's add one will be the house, the home icon. First, let's add this anchor link with the pointer utility class. So we have the little hand icon when you mouse over, and this will be a FontAwesome component, and we want the house icon. Okay. Oops. Save this. Let's go back to the browser, and we have the icon there. So let's repeat this for the other icons. We actually don't need this thing here. And okay, the other icon is have a different props. So when you want to use basically a different icon than a solid one, the one with that is basically filled with something, like for example this one. This is filled with black. So if you want to use the other ones that are not filled, you have to use a different prop here. Basically you passed an array, and you say you want a FontAwesome regular icon. Oops, something happened there. And excuse me, you pass the name of the icon, which is comment dots. Okay, you can see the icon is not filled. Let's do another one. This one is a square plus. Square plus, which is to add post. And what else? We have a compass, one that is used for searching, for browsing. Just compass. And the last one is a heart icon, so you can see your likes, the post that you have liked. And this is just called heart. Let's check out this. Yeah, this looks good. And also we need another icon. One that is used for the profile. So let's add here another extra li, and this won't be an icon. This will be an image. And let me see. So I will just copy this from my final code because it's basically an image from my GitHub account. So it's basically the image, and I'm applying this utility class to make it rounded, and with a width of 6, which I don't really exactly know how much it is. It's like 60 or 100 pixels, something like that. And if you can see here. Okay, so now let's work on the rest of the page. So I was actually calling this the profile page, but it's actually the home page. I'm not sure, I was confusing that. And this is not the highlights section, this is the story section. So we will have to create, or we'll create 5 different components. And one component will be these stories. Another component will be this basic profile. Another component will be these suggestions here. This footer will be another one, and finally this post that is repeated here. Okay, so let's go to the editor and start adding these files. And the first one will be the stories, and the other one will be the post, another one for the footer, and another one for the suggestions, and another one for the basic profile. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's all we need. Let's start with the stories component. So we go top to bottom. So let's create a new component. It will be called stories. Let's delete this here. And this component will have a div, like a container. It will be relative, with some margin at the bottom for some spacing between between the component and the post. We want to have a white background, and inside here we have we will position the arrows, absolute position the arrows. So let's create another div that will be absolute, and this one will be the left arrow, so we want to make it close to the left, some spacing. That's already absolute. I think I can use the top half because that breaks image. So let's autocomplete this and add the others. This will be top half. So inside this div we'll have an anchor tag, sorry, with a white background. Text will be gray. 400. We have a flex container, so we can center the items vertically and horizontally. We want to make this rounded. We also want to make this text small and with a width of 6, which is like 20 pixels or something like that, same height. And we want to have a drop shadow, so use this shadow MD, and we also want to put the cursor on hover, the hand cursor. So we have this cursor pointer. Alrighty, and inside here we will add the icon. So let's import FontAwesome, and here we add the FontAwesome icon. This will be a chevron left, and we can do something similar for the other. Oh, actually, let's copy the div, the container div, but this one will be to the right. We position it to the right. Okay. Let's save this, and let's check out the browser. I think there's an error. Oh, I haven't really added that to the app.js. Okay, so we want to create a new component. It will be called home. But we will create another directory here. It will be called pages, and inside here we want to add home.js. Okay, let's open the home.js. In the home page component, we want to return the stories. So let's remove this code here and add the stories component here. Import stories from components stories. Okay, save this, and we should get something now. Not yet, because what I'm missing here. Okay, I haven't added that to the app.js. So yeah, the home will be below the navbar. So let's import the home component, and we want to add that below this home. Okay, so now we should see something. Okay, we have the arrow here and here, and actually I forgot to change the icons, and we have to add a container. So this will be right, and this will be stories. Okay, but for the home page excuse me, we want to have something here. We want to have a container. So let's move this here, and let's create a div container. So this will be a container with a parent top of 8, and we will set a width, a max width, similar to the navbar. And inside this, another one, the main, we want to have another tag called main. This will be a grid, and this grid will have 3 columns. Okay, and the first column will be the one at the left, So this one will be another div. Actually, I need to just create the div and add the class name, because Emmet doesn't work when there's a column. So here we have, when the breakpoint is on the medium size, we want to have some padding at the left and right of 12, and it should be 0 when it's large. We want to span to 3 columns, because there's one thing, when you go to mobile, the right column disappears, the sidebar. So we need to add that functionality, and we need to expand the other columns. We'll see in a moment. So when it goes to the large breakpoint, we want to make these 2 columns only. Okay, and inside this is where we have the stories in the middle, in the column at the left. And at the other column, we want to have a call span of 1. This will be 1. This will be hidden on mobile. So to complete this, so we can add the last one, and this will make it hidden. This will make it show on large screens. So on mobile will be hidden, and on large screens or the large breakpoint, it will be shown. Okay, but on this side we don't have nothing, so let's put a placeholder sidebar here. What I'm missing, let's check this. Okay. So this looks good. So we have a sidebar here. Let's actually go to the other breakpoints, so you can see it disappears around, let me see, 1024 pixels maybe. Yeah. Okay, so this looks good. Okay, so now let's add the profile pictures for the different users. So let's go to the stories. Let's create a UL tag. This will have a little border. It should be rounded. We want to have a little light gray color, so this will be called slate 200. Want to have some padding. Let's make this a flex container, so we can add some spacing between the elements. And we want to make this scrollable, so we add the overflow X auto. We want to have a scroll bar, so we add the overflow X auto. Okay, so now let's add a li element here. This will be a flex container, and this will be flex in a column direction, because we want to put the profile image at the top and below the username. And we want to make this center and add some spacing between the 2 elements. A little bit of spacing here. So if we check the profile images here, we can see that there's some gradient that goes from yellow to purple. So to get that effect, we can create a div here. So let's create a div. This will be a block element, and no, excuse me. This will be a BG gradient to top right, and this will go from yellow 400 to purple 600, and we will add some little padding, and this will be a full circle, so it will be rounded full. And inside this div, this will be basically the background container, and inside this we will add the anchor tag. So this one will actually be a block with a white background, even though we don't see the background because there will be an image. And this will have a little padding, so it's like a little border. This will be actually also rounded full, and the same cursor pointer, so we get the hand on hover. Okay, so we don't want to add this ref here. And inside here we add the image. I will just copy this from the final codes. It's basically an image that is rounded with a random user from randomuser.me. So let's check out this on the browser. And I actually have a typo here. This should be 0.5. That's why we don't see the border. So now it looks good. So we can do the same for the others. So it will basically be copy and paste. So we can create another component, but I think it's easier to just copy and paste this for now. Once we add the GraphQL endpoint, we'll basically make this dynamic. So let's do another woman here, and let's add some more, like 6 more or something. Yeah, I think that looks good. And we also forgot something actually. We also need to add the usernames below the profile image. So here we need another anchor tag, the cursor pointer, oops, and here we will have a div. Text will be extra small, should be center horizontally, overflow hidden. When we have these long names should be hidden so they don't overlap the space, and an ellipsis, so in case the name is too long it will show an ellipsis, and the width will be 20, and here we can just do whatever. And let's check this out and just do the same for the others, so it looks consistent. Okay, and there's also another issue. There's like a little white border like between the image and the other border here. So I basically have a typo in this utility class. This should be a point. So let's actually replace this. All this with 0.5, and that should fix it. Okay. Okay, so now let's work on the basic profile. So let's open up this file. Let's create a new component. It will be called basic profile. And here we can just delete this, or actually let's return that. And the basic profile will be below the in the sidebar here at the top. So let's add that to the sidebar in the app, in the home page. Here, let's actually import this. This is called basic profile, and it will be here. Okay. So let me see, what is the browser? Okay, we can see it shows basic profile. Excuse me. Okay, so for the basic profile, we have these three elements. We have a profile image. We have this information here, the username and some bio description, and we have a sign out. Okay, so let's do that. First, we will need a div. In this div, we will need a flex container with the direction row. Inside this div, we will have the first element. The first element will be an anchor tag, and inside this we will have an image. I will just copy this from my final project because it's basically an image from GitHub. The second element is the information. Is a div for the information. So we'll make this 7.2 width. Let's add some padding to the left 2, and we want to make this margin auto, so it's center. And we will add some other divs. One is for the username, so this will be text small. The font size will be medium. Oops. And here we will have the username. We can just put some placeholder here. And the second element will be the description. This will be a text gray 500 and text small. Okay. The last one, I think okay, sure. Yeah. The last one will be for the sign out link. Let's make it 32 width. The text will be right, aligned to the right, and this is a margin auto, so we can center that element. And inside this we'll have an anchor tag, should be text small, and this is a blue anchor tag, so let's make it sky 500. The font size is bold, and the same cursor pointer to make it change on hover. And here we have the sign out text. Okay, let's check out this in the browser. I need to make this better. Okay, I think we need some padding here. Let's see, probably missing something on the sidebar. Let me check my final code. Yeah, I need some padding. Okay, so on the sidebar we actually need a container to make it fixed so it doesn't move when you scroll down, and with some padding to give it some spacing. And let's move this to the let's move this inside, and it should be better, I think. Okay, so we now have some more spacing, and now we can do the other element, which is the suggestions box. So let's create a new component. This will be called suggestions, and this will go below this other one. No, this is not that. Import suggestions. This one, and here should be suggestions. Righty. I don't know how I added that. There's an issue here. Oh, where? JSON must have part in div. This is a div. Main. There's no issue here. That's weird. Okay, let's ignore this message and let's go to the suggestions. And on the suggestions, we actually want this. We have these elements here. We have this title with a link at the right to see more suggestions, and we have all the different users that are suggested. So let's start with adding the first element at the top. This will be a flex container, flex row direction. The padding top will be 5. Inside this we will have another div with the font bold. It will be text gray 500. The text will be small. This will say suggestions for you, and below this another div, W32. Text will be small, and the text will be aligned to the right. And inside this we have a link with the text black, 400 will be bold, it will be small, extra small actually. And this is the link to see all. Okay. The second element will be one of the users. So let's create another flex container with a padding of 2 on the top and bottom. And inside this we want to have another flex container with the items center. And now in this container is when we have the profile image, that is an anchor tag. We'll make it an inline block so we can add the other link next to that. And this will be aligned to the top. I always do the same thing. Okay. And inside this we have an image. I will just copy this from here. It's basically just a random me image. And below that is where we have the link. This will be an inline block with the margin left 2. Inside this we have the username, which will be a text small, and the font will be medium size. And here we have some kind of random username. Below that is the link inside a div. Oh, sorry, no, below, this is just the text that says suggested to you. So this is text gray, 500, and it will be extra small, suggested for you. And below this we have the follow link. This will be a flex 1, items center, flex container, and justify end, so it goes aligned to the right. And here we have an anchor tag, text small, extra small. This will be blue, so make it sky 500, and the font will be bold. And here we have the follow link. This flex one utility class, we just make it this element expand as needed here. So basically we'll take all the space needed here. Okay. So now let's check out this on the browser. If I can find that screen here. And as we can see, we have the image, the username, the little label below, suggested to you, and the follow at the right. So this looks good. So we can just create a few more of this. Let's 4 more, sorry. Okay, I think oh no, we actually don't need this part, just the username part. Okay, let's undo this. Here. Yes. And just copy this element. 3, 4. Okay, this looks better. And the final element here is the footer. So let's create a footer component. Footer, here we import footer. Sometimes this autocomplete doesn't work. From components footer. Okay, this is footer. Footer. Okay, so we should see footer here, and we can now work on this component. So the footer can be a footer tag, and we can add some padding to the top or the right and make it center. And here we can have a UL with will be a flex container with direction row, space between the elements 4, padding 2, text will be extra small, items center vertically, justify center, so it's center horizontally, and the text will be gray 400, and inside this we can have all the links. So we have first an li tag, then an anchor tag with the link. So this will have the usual cursor pointer, and this one will be for the about link, and we can repeat this for the others. This is the privacy, and the other one could be the terms. Okay, and this looks good. So now we can start working on the post component. Okay, so the post component has these different sections. First, we have this sort of bar at the top with the user profile and the username, and at the right we have this sort of link so to open this other modal here. Below that we have an image. Here is another little section so we can have some actions to like, to comment, etc. And here we have some information about the likes, the username, the label for this, or the caption for this post, and we have some other things like a link to see all the views, all the comments, and some different comments on that post. And below that we have this box. So this is a little more sort of complex component in sort of way. So let's work on this. let's open up the post component, generate this. This is a post, and let's add that to the home page. This will go below. Actually, let's import these spheres. I don't get it. Let me see if this works. Okay, it worked. And this will be a post. And we should see the post message here. Okay. So let's open up the post component. The container will have a border. It's a rounded border, so it will be rounded LG. It will be slate 200. Let's with some margin bottom for some spacing between the posts, and with a white background. Inside this, at the top, we have this little bar, some padding. It will be a flex container with row direction. We can actually we don't need to add the flex row, I guess, but let's be explicit, because by default it will be flex row. Inside this we have two elements. The first one is for the profile image. So this will be a flex one, so it grows as needed, the item. And inside this, I will just copy this because it's basically the same thing we already did in the other sections. An anchor tag with an image, and here we have a user spam. So this will basically put the username next to the image. We are making this inlined, and we are making this text small with a little bit of margin to the left. Okay, so let's save this and check out the browser, and we can see the user profile and the username. So now let's work on the other element, which will be an image of the post. So this will be an image tag with width 100, and we have an image here as a placeholder. I will have to copy this image to the project. Photo by web developer. Let's add some alternate text for accessibility, and I will copy this file in a moment. Okay, so the image is there, and we can see the image here. Oh, I think this Navbar needs some background color. Let me see. If I forgot something, yeah, I forgot the BG white here. So this should fix it. Okay, so we now have the image. Let's do the other part here. Below this, we have a little div, and this will be this will have a padding 3. It will be a flex container, flex row, text will be 2XL, so it's a little big. And here is where we have all these icons. So we have 2 items inside the flex container. The first one is flex 1, so it expands or shrinks as needed. And here we have all the different anchor links. We have a margin right of 3. This is the heart icon, so we'll make it red. And the same cursor pointer. And here we will need to import FontAwesome icon. Let's actually import this first. Import FontAwesome icon. And inside here we need the heart icon, so this will be heart. Check out this on the browser, and we have the heart with the field with the red color because it's a solid icon. And below that we have a comment icon, or actually next to that, but this one is a regular one, so it doesn't have the color field, so we need to pass an array with this FAR, and next the name of the icon, which is comment, and this is not red, is gray. Gray 500. It should be on hover actually. And margin right of 3, that's fine. Save this, check out the browser. I think we need to add the other element so it looks better. Yeah, I think my mistake is that this link goes here, and this other item is where we have the bookmark, so it doesn't go next to the icons. This will be at the right of the flex container, and this will be a cursor pointer, and hover. When you hover over this icon, I will make it gray. And this one will be a regular one, so we need to excuse me, pass the FAR, and the name will be maybe I'm so slow sometimes with this to complete. Okay, bookmark, and next to the other one is actually a text, a paper plane icon, so we can share this. Same on hover, and here we have paper plane. Oops, paper plane. Check out the browser, and this looks better. When you see when I hover over the icon, I can see the text color change. Okay, so this looks good. So now we can work on the other elements. This section for the likes. And this is just another div with a font size medium. Text will be X small. Some padding to the left and right. This will say like 1,000 likes. This is a popular post. And that should be it. You can see the 1,000 likes here. And below this, you have another div. Some padding to the left and right. Should be small. And here's where we have the username and the caption for the post. So this will be a span, big username, and some random quote that I will copy from my other project. That should be it for this. Save this. And let's check out the browser. And we can see the username and the caption. Okay, and below that we have the timestamp, or basically the time. So let's add another div. Will be text grade 500. Let's make this one uppercase. Some padding to all the directions. Text will be extra small. And this tracking white utility class. And this tracking white is basically the letter spacing property in CSS. So we have some little more spacing between the letters than they are used to be by default. And this one will say 23 hours ago. Okay, check out this on the browser and we can see the text here. And let's do the other element. It's my window. Okay, and this one will have the comment box. So this will be a padding tree. It will be a flex container, flex row, and a little border at the top. Inside this we have 3 items. One is that smiley face icon. So this will be actually another flex container, so we can center this horizontally. And this will be the anchor tag with the cursor pointer. And here is where we have the icon, which will be a regular one. And this will be a face smile. Okay, and the other element is where we have the input box. So this will be another flex item with that will grow or shrink as needed. So this will take basically all the available space. So the input field is wider, And let's add some padding to that. This will be the input tag, and it will take all the space with 100 width. Some padding to the left and right, and some padding to the top and bottom. Text will be small. Let's make this outline 0 so you don't have this annoying blue border when the element is focused. This will be type text. Let's add some placeholder text here. It should say add a comment. Okay. Check out this on the browser. And we have this input text here. So the last part is the button or the link to post, and this will be a div next to the input field. This will be a flex container. Items will be centered horizontally. Text will be small, and inside here we have this anchor text sky 500. Font will be medium size, and the same cursor pointer, and this will say just post. Our component is now ready, and we can actually add some more. So it looks like we have some more posts here. Okay, so we just finished the home page. Now we can work on the profile page. Okay, so for the profile page, we will create 3 different components. We'll split this in 3. One will be this sort of profile header. The other one, this highlights component. And the last one will be this section here, which will be the profile posts component. Right, so let's start creating those components. This will go to the components folder. Let's add a new one called ProfileHeader.js. Another one for the highlights, and another one for the profile posts. And let's open up. The first one will be the header. Oops. So let's create a new component here. It will be called profile header. And we actually want another page here. This will be for the home page, for the profile page. Okay, so let's generate this, and this will be called profile. And inside the profile, we want to have a container, and this container will have a padding top of 8. So we have some spacing between this and the navbar, and this will have the same max width that we added on the other container. There will be a main tag as on the home page, and this will have a background slate 50, and here is where we have the other components. So let's import the profile header. And let's add that here. And we want to show the home page, sorry, the profile in the here below the navbar. For now, just delete this and import profile from pages profile. Okay, so for now we just switch the home page for the profile page, and let's check out this. So yeah, we can see the profile header here. So let's go to the profile header, and this will be a grid. So let's add a div. This will be a grid with 3 columns. So we will have basically this first column for the profile image, and these other 2 columns will be merged as one with a span 2. So we have all this space available. Okay, so this will be grid calls 3, margin bottom of 10. Inside this we will have the 2 columns. So the first div will have a background green, P3, padding 3 for all the different directions. Should be rounded, and should be a flex container with items center. Sorry, items will be a start, so they will be at the top, and justify will be center, so they will be centered horizontally. And here is where we have the image tag. This will be rounded, full, it will be a circle, and I'm just gonna copy the same URL from the other pages. So this is just my GitHub image, profile, and let's add a width of 150. And let's check out this on the browser. Oops. Okay, so it looks good. Okay, so let's add the other column. This will be also a div with a padding 3. Text will be Greg 600, and we'll make this to span to 2 columns. And inside this we have 2 items, 2 elements. The first one is where we have the username and the edit profile. So we have a div here, which will be a flex container with the items centered horizontally, vertically. And here we have an H1. This will be an inline block. This will be the username container, or the username title. This will be 3XL, so it will be a little big. line to the bottom, and this will be a block element. And here the username. Next to that we have a button. So in this button we have a class name, a white background. Margin left will be 3. Text will be gray 800. We want a font semi-bold, some padding to the top and bottom, some padding to the left and right. This will have some border, gray 400, and it will be rounded. So we have some nice rounded corners, and it will be small. Okay, so that's the bottom, and we have another link for the little there's a little gear here. This is the button, this is the username, and this gear link to open the modal. So this will be an anchor tag which has some margin left, and inside this we have the icon. So I need to import FontAwesome icon, and here use this will be a solid icon, so it can be like this, and this will be a gear, but this will have some classes. We want to make this a little big to Excel, and leading 6. And this leading 6 is basically the line height. So that's the way I found to center the icon to make it look aligned to the text. I'm sure there's another way to do it, but that's how I did it. Okay, so we have this here. Actually, we need a text here for the button. Should say edit profile. Okay, so this looks better. So now we can work on the other section. And below this, in the same column, we have another div. This will be a flex container, flex row, padding Y5. We'll make this max width small, and it will be hidden in mobile, but we will make it flex on large screens. So, actually, this breaks emmet, so let's do it like this. Hidden, and on large screens it will be flex, not flex. Okay, actually let's remove this. Okay, so we have 3 items inside this flex element. We have a div for the post, the post count. So let's have this basis 1 tier class, so it uses 1 tier of the space initially. So this will be split in 3 parts. We have a strong tag here. This will have the number of posts, and next to this the posts, and we can just copy this for the other two, and this will be the followers, so we can have like something like this. This will say followers, and the other one is for the following. So we can just add some random number here. And let's check out this on the browser. Everything looks good. Okay, so let's create the other element. This will be an H3 title with font bold, and this will have the little description here, or the name. Actually, this is basically the name, and below that you can have some more information. I will just copy this from the final project, so it's basically just some random text, and below that you can have an anchor tag for the link to your site. So let's add that. This will be target blank, and this could be just your page, and here just the link. Okay, so this should be blue, so let's add a class name, text blue 900, and it should be bold. Okay, so it looks much better. So I think that's all for the profile header. So we can continue now with the other element, the highlights. Okay, so now let's work on the highlights, and let's generate a new component here. It will be called highlights, and let's add that to our profile page. So let's import this here, highlights here. Check out that on the browser, and we see the message here. So the highlights are basically these images with some kind of description below. So let's work on that. Let's go to the highlights component. Okay, so inside this we will have a div. It will be a flex container with the row direction. We'll have some padding too. We want to center the content inside the items, so the text is centered. We have a margin button of 8 to add some little spacing below, and we have a space x2, so we have some spacing between the items. This will be, let's autocomplete this, and on the medium breakpoint you want to have a more spacing. It will be 10. And this will have a text small, and the font will be semi-bold, and we'll make this take for 100% width, and overflow will be auto, so it will be scrollable. And inside this is where we have the other elements for the icons, for the images. So we have a div with width of 14, so it will be like a little, like 100 pixels, something like that. And we have an anchor link here, and here we have the image, but the image will be contained in a little div with a border, some padding, and this will be fully rounded, so it will be a circle. And inside this is where we have the image, which I'm just gonna copy this. I already copied the images to the project, so this should work. I will obviously put that in the repo, and so you guys can have all the images. And below this is where we have the little description, so it will be some div with the text center, overflow hidden in case it gets too long, and it will show an ellipsis. Okay, this will be Twitter. And let's check out this on the browser. Looks good. We can see the little border, and this padding adds some spacing here. Alright, so we can just repeat this for the other highlights. I think there's one for YouTube. And the other one is Facebook. Check out this on the browser, and so yeah, it's basically the same thing over and over. And we can actually make this bigger, I think. Maybe something like this. Let's try that. Okay, so that's the idea. You can copy just a few more. Okay, so it looks good. Now let's work on the other element, the posts. Okay, so now let's work on the profile posts component. And we can see this component have these two sections basically. The first one is this sort of tabs, so you can actually go to different sections, to different pages. But in this has some behavior when you go to mobile version. You can see here it will change to this other style. This will change. This will show these icons here, and show the post counts, the followers count, some stats there. So we are gonna do that. So yeah, let's get started. So let's open up the profile posts file, generate a little component here. This will be profile posts, and let's add that to our profile page. Import profile posts from components profile posts. And let's add that here. I don't know how I'm adding these things. Okay, so there's no closing tag. It's here. I think something's going on with my linting. Let me check on the browser. Yeah, there's no error. Okay, so let's open up. Let's continue here. I wanna delete this, and let's create a fragment so we can start adding these elements. The first one will be an ordered list. This will contain the different stats on mobile. This will be a flex container, flex row, padding 2, we text small, items will be center vertically and horizontally. This will have a border at the top. Text will be gray, 400, and the height will be 16. And we want to make this hidden on desktop, on large screens. And we want to add some items here. Okay, let's add some allies. The first one will be a flex 1, so we'll expand our shrinks as needed. And this will be center. And this will have a little strong tag. Text will be black. And this will be a block element. This will have the count here, and we can add a couple more, and let's check that out. Remember this will only show up on mobile, so we can see it's showing up here. But there's actually an issue with the navbar, so I forgot to actually hide the navbar on mobile. So let's do that. Not the navbar, the input field. So this column, I think. Let me double check. So yeah, I forgot that. So it should be hidden on mobile, and it should be shown on medium breakpoints. Okay, so it's showing up on medium breakpoints and disappears on mobile. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, I think there's another issue with this image here. So let's add some width full so it doesn't go small. Yeah, that fixed the issue, so it doesn't shrinks. Okay, so now let's continue with the other component, the profile posts. And in this component we should have some kind of tabs for the posts, the reels, and all the stuff. So let's add flex container with the flex row direction, should be to XL, items center vertically and horizontally, border at the top, uppercase text, text gray 400, and tracking widest, so there's some letter spacing, and forgot to add something here, should be larger on the large breakpoint, should be smaller actually. Okay, inside this so inside this we'll have a link, an anchor tag will be text black, border at the top, it will be black. This will be a flex container, justify center, items center, horizontally and vertically centered, height will be full, will be height 100%, margin right 16, and cursor pointer. Okay, and inside this is where we have the icon, so let's import the icons, the icon component, FontAwesome, and this will be a FontAwesome icon. The first one is table cells. Okay, table cells. Next we have a span tag for showing the label. This will be hidden on mobile, and let's autocomplete this so we can add the other utility class, which should be for the large breakpoint. It will be inline block, so it will show up on the large breakpoint, but it will be hidden mobile. And this will have a margin left of 2, and this will say posts. Okay, this will be the one that is currently active, but we can just copy this for the others, and the difference is that this will not be black and will not have this border, so it will be just the flex container in the center and like that, and it will have a different description or label, and the icon will obviously be different. It will be play. So let's check out that on the browser, and we can see it looks correct. Doesn't have any, it's not like clickable right now. We will add that later, but we can add the other ones. So let's add the videos, and this will be circle play. Oh, actually this will be the other type, the regular ones. So this will be far, circle play. Alrighty. Oops, forgot to add the curly braces. And let's check out that. Yeah, it looks good. And we can add some more here. one for another one for saved post, and this will be a bookmark icon, and this will say save, and the other one for tag icons, sorry, tag posts. This should say tag, and this will just be a tag, user tag actually. Okay, so this looks good. Okay, so the last part is the post below this this kind of menu. For this section, we will create a div container. It will be a grid with 3 columns and with a gap between columns of 1. And let's add some behavior for the large breakpoint. The gap will increase to 8. So mobile it will be 1, or in the other breakpoints, and on desktop and above will be 8. And inside here we have to create a different component. This will have all the different posts. So let's save this and create a new component. This will be called ProfilePosts. Something like that. Generate a little skeleton here. Profile post. And now we should be able to import that here. Post. This is the function, so it won't work. So let's actually do it manually. This will be profile post, and inside here, profile post. Let's check out the browser. And we can see the profile post here. So let's continue with the content of this. So for this profile post, we have a little behavior. So you can see we can hover and we show some stats from the post. So basically the likes and the number of comments. So let's do that. Okay, so first we want to have a container. It will be a div position relative, so we can absolute position the overlay inside that div. This will be overflow hidden, so we don't have any kind of content going out of the div. Make it 100% width, and padding top, we will make it 100%. So this is something that Tailwind lets you do when you have some specific value to add here. Instead of having the number, you can just put these braces and add the value here. Alrighty, but the image doesn't work with that, so let's add that manually here. PT 100%, the padding top, and that should be it for now. Inside this we want to have the overlay, and the image. So let's first add the image. So this will be in images, profile post, JPEG. I already have the image there, so show that in a moment. And the class name will be absolute. We'll position absolute the image and the overlay. And we will have this utility class called inset0 that will basically make everything like top 0, right 0, bottom 0, left 0. That's all. And we're gonna have this object cover, so it basically works like a background. And let's make this full width and full height. Okay, h4, that was good. I think I saw the image there. Yeah, looks good. So now let's add the overlay. This will be a sort of link, so you can go to the post. So let's create an anchor tag. For now, it won't do anything, so just leave it like that. And this will have a container, and this will have a gray background, 800 pixels, 800, sorry, the shade. This will be opacity 60, so it's kind of transparent. Edge full, full height, full width, same as the image. Position will be absolute, the same inset0. We add some z index and a flex. This will be a flex container, so we can center this item inside all the items inside the overlay, the stats. Justify center, and the text will be white. Alrighty. And inside this we will have an icon, so let's import FontAwesome. This will be FontAwesome icon. This will be a heart for the likes. Heart. And below that we want to have a span tag. This will have the number, and the class name will be we have a margin left 2. Let's copy this because the other one is similar, but should be a comment icon, and this will actually have some styling because we need some margin left. And it should be it. So right now it should be on top. It's always shown. So we want to have is some kind of behaviors to only show it on hover. So let's actually add some state. Import React, use state from React. So we can now define a constant show overlay, set overlay, and this will use a state hook. Should be false by default, so it's not visible. And with that variable, we can use it here. We actually want to make this string literal, so it's my cursor here. So let's replace this with backticks and add this here. And we wanna, when this variable is true, we don't want to do anything, but when it's false, when it's true, we don't want to show, we don't want to add any class, but when it's false, it should be hidden. Or we can actually do it the other way, but anyway, it's the same thing. And on mouse lift, we want to add some other function here. So on mouse lift, we wanna show the, we wanna hide the overlay. So let's set show overlay to false. Okay. Save that. I think that looks good. I have an error. And set show overlay. Okay. This is not the right one. Okay, I think there's another error. Set hidden. Okay, so I actually forgot to add the other event. So when we mouse enter, when we hover up in the image, we want to show the overlay. So we have to add this anonymous function here, so we can actually set show overlay to true. Was the part missing? I think. Yep. So when we mouse enter, it says the show overlay true and removes the hidden part. And we mouse over, basically set that to false. Okay, it's working fine. So we can just copy, basically make different posts. Let's do like 6, so we have some even rows. And I think that looks good. Let's check out mobile. And yeah, it looks good. And the last component for this page is actually the footer. I forgot to add that footer here. Let's import this from components, footer, and it should go, I think, below this. Let me double check. Yeah, it should go below this. And let's check that out on the browser, and we can see the footer here. And I think that's it for the profile page. Actually, this should be uppercase. Let me check that. Profile posts. Okay, I have a typo here. This looks better. And let me check. I think this component should be more at the right side, this element. Check the navbar. This will go 1/3. Yeah, when this disappears, this should be 50%, not 33%. So this should be basis 1/2 and everything below medium size. Let's copy this and should be the same on the last item. Okay, yeah, that looks better. So I think that's it for the profile page. If you're still watching this video at this point, thank you very much. This video was a lot of work. This project took me a lot of time, a lot of my free time. So make sure to type thanks Carlos in the comments. I think that will help me with the algorithm. I'll also like the video. There's a lot of things left. I still need to show you how to create the models, how to do the backend part, upload the files, a lot of stuff that basically you won't see anywhere in other tutorials. So make sure to subscribe. I see you on the next one. Bye.